Hey. Hey. You're looking very nice today. Are you flirting with me? I'm sorry. Hey, like, if I want to get a girl to like me because, like, we're in the friend zone and I can't flirt with her, how should I, like, do that? I don't know. I see you as a friend.
Here's how to avoid that and get people to actually be attracted to you using conversation maxing. Conversation maxing is not just having normal conversations, because that'll just land you in the friend zone. It is maxing out your charisma so that you can make people like you and be attracted to you from normal conversations without having to flirt. Now, later on you add flirting, which I'll get to that, I'll explain that, but we want to max out the charisma first. Flirting helps people feel good around you. But you know what else helps people feel good around you and also makes you a more likable person? Being funny, being nice to people, having really fun conversations that are about interesting topics, being interesting, and let's not forget the role of just physical attractiveness as well. So here are 3 ways to conversation max. The first way is to try harder to be funny. If you're ever more funny around some people than others, that means that sometimes you're not trying as hard to be funny. And so if you want to be really, really funny all the time, you just have to try really, really hard all the time. And, it's not as simple as that, as just, telling more jokes straight away. It's obviously hard, but what you do, instead of just only thinking of what to say, or even worse, only thinking about how bad the conversation is and how they're judging you and how they don't like you, instead put more of your energy towards thinking about how to be funny. An excellent way to do this is to practice with your family. If you eat dinner with your family, that's a perfect time to just go like, okay, I'm gonna try and be a bit more funny today. And I think you'll be surprised with how funny you can be. The next thing is to start singing and dancing and just, having more of a good time. And what this will do, it'll loosen you up, If you're always standing there stiff in conversation, that's not very charismatic of you. And so you have to loosen up. You have to loosen up your face. When people say something interesting, you have to look interested. And you can't do that if you're stuck in kind of a small border, a small area of just only having a certain amount of facial expression. And so when you're just by yourself, just start singing to yourself, just start talking to yourself and be a more charismatic person as you're doing that. There's no one around, there's no one watching you, and so it doesn't matter. And finally, the biggest thing is going to be to try to ask more questions and have less of a filter. For me, the thing that held my conversations back the most, and that I'm still working on, to be fair, is I think of something to say and I don't say it because I get scared, or there's a silence, or I don't know, just something about it, it doesn't feel right. And if I was to say more questions, the conversation quality would improve. First of all, just because there would be less silence, there would be less bad moments, awkwardness, but there would also be more likelihood of getting to a good topic. Because even if that question isn't good, I'm basically signaling, keep talking, I'm interested. And so they'll just keep talking. And as they're talking, I think of something that's even better to say. And it just keeps the conversational momentum going, rather than having to restart it all the time. And when you put more focus and more effort into listening to the other person, you're going to come up with better questions anyway. And if you get scared of saying something or asking something, just remember, what would a charismatic person do? Because remember, you are becoming a charismatic person. You're not trying to act like a charismatic person. You're genuinely becoming a charismatic person. You're conversation maxing. Some other ways to improve your charisma are talk to people in general, not just women. Talk to everyone. Don't watch porn. It messes up your confidence. And if you can, cold approach women. Go up to them. If you're at a checkout and you're buying something, just practice flirting with the checkout chick there, because it'll increase your confidence, and it's also safe flirting practice because you're never going to see them again. You don't have to do something absolutely crazy. You don't have to ask for their number. You can just literally do some of the flirting things I'm about to teach you. But if you don't do that one, that's okay. Okay, and then people will like you from that. People will be attracted to you because they'll be like, wow, this guy is so socially cool. He's so awesome. And I love spending time with him because our conversation's always so good. He's so funny, or she's so funny, all this stuff. Once you've done that though, maybe flirting will help. Maybe you want to flirt now. And so here's how you do that. First of all, when it comes to flirting, you need the eject button. You need something where if you go too far, and like the skit at the start, you make them a bit creeped out, a bit uncomfortable, then the way that you get rid of that, you need an eject button. You give them a little nod. You give them the nice eyes, and you give them a little bow nod. A bow nod is like it's basically you're bowing to them. You're admitting like, I respect you and I'm not going to go any further. And that makes them comfortable. You can also like tilt your head like forward more when you're flirting, on like to the side instead of like back. You can also stand a little bit closer to them, like not right up next to them, like hold on, you don't need to go that close. You can just gradually build it up. And you can also compliment something you're attracted to. You can be like, you look nice today. You can be like, I love your hair. I love those earrings. Like your laugh is nice. I don't know, something like that. Those are all good. And really those three things that I've just listed, they don't really matter. What you're really doing when it comes to flirting, you're slowly building up. And you're constantly thinking about how the other person is realistically going to feel to that. So you're not thinking, what do I want to do? Because a lot of the time, like we want to just, get them. We want them to like us. And so we just jump right to the end. We go like, I'm going to ask them out because I'm sick of all this formality. But what's best for them is actually slowly building up, because that way you're not risking like totally making them feel terrible, making it really awkward, anything like that. So think about like, if I was to do this right now and this person doesn't like me, how are they going to feel? Or how would I feel as someone who I didn't like that did that to me? And it was like another guy, for example. If you're a guy, I find it useful to imagine if a gay guy did it to me. And you also need to just constantly monitor their reactions, Don't look for what you want to see, look for what's actually there. But don't also look for what you don't want to see as well. Look for what's actually there. And by now you have the charisma, you have the flirting skills. Either they like you or they don't. Once you go beyond a certain level of charisma, the main thing that's going to give you like rejections is that you're not similar enough to the other person. I didn't mention this before when I was talking about what makes people like you, but you have to actually be really similar. You have to have the same values, you have to have some interesting stuff that you can both talk about, so some similarities there. And if you're just not similar enough, there's no need to be like, oh no, she doesn't like me, and let that hurt your ego and let yourself think less of yourself as a person. You can just be friends with them. Like having relationships, even with people of the opposite sex, is awesome. Like relationships should be pursued for relationships' sakes. You shouldn't be only pursuing romantic relationships so that you can get the validation and you can feel worthy for having someone choose you. Let go of your ego and the wanting to feel loved, and just let yourself experience these platonic relationships, which are very, very good. Relationships are also not black and white, where either they are a very, very close friend or they're just not a friend at all. It's a gradient. And so a meaningful relationship, in my opinion, is anything where you feel better after talking to them, or you look forward to talking to them. And so a meaningful relationship could just be like, you talk to them, but you're not even friends. That can be meaningful. It's not going to be as meaningful as a family member or a very close friend or a romantic partner, but it's still meaningful. And so it's still good to have. It's still worth pursuing. So now is the perfect time to start conversation maxing. Remember, you can do the singing and dancing one and the expression stuff right now. So, and you can do the one with your family and stuff later today. So get to it, man. No better time than right now, because you are highly motivated right now because you've just watched this video. And so start conversation maxing and have a great day and subscribe.